experience with patients having, near death or death experiences where we resuscitate them after a heart attack or their heart and lungs stop and they're in an anoxic state for a period of minutes, and you pull them back into the body through resuscitation methods, pumping them with drugs and shocking their chest and everything else, so they suddenly kick back in. And too often I've heard that, oh my gosh, why'd you bring me back? I just experienced for the first time what it feels like to be completely accepted. And that's different than saying, oh, I saw the white love and white light and Jesus and love. And like, that's, that's not, I never heard those lines from anybody who I pulled back. They were always very bizarre stories rather than that predictable tunnel and the light and blah, blah, blah. Bizarre stories that always involved, oh my gosh, I didn't even know who I was. And I have the universe knows who I am, and I'm on a path that's vastly different than anything I could have imagined, and my life had nothing to do with that. So for those patients that do, it's less than 6% that even survive a resuscitation, but for those, fraction of those patients that then are, with it enough to actually speak, it's amazing what they will say and what they've learned and how they will change their whole world perspective and say the most profound things to their loved ones who they've been estranged from and broken relationships, and they can heal those in an instant when they just realize I was wrong, and oh my gosh, I spent my whole life going down the wrong path. I was using the wrong metrics for success. And so I've seen that too many times to believe that our purpose isn't really rooted in this need for coming to terms with self-identity and then finding beauty in that, which would then engender the experience of love. And so find the beauty in who you are. And in some ways, you just start at the back of your hand. There's that classic saying, and I know it as well as the back of my hand. But in my experience, none of my patients have looked at the back of their hand in years. They've got their hand this way with a cell phone in it. They don't know what their palm or the back of the hand looks like. Look at every part of it and blow your mind that your fingernails know where they're supposed to be. Like,
Right.
that's freaking miraculous. Like, there's no understanding in biology yet as to why fingernails know where to be, let alone why every blood vessel knows where to be, why the lymphatic drainage knows to be, why a tendon knows how to ride over a joint just to create the right mechanism so that I might close my hand around the hand of my child or put my palm of my hand around the face of my lover. Those things are enabled by a miraculous quantum, three-dimensional, four-dimensional reality that is in a hand. And so stare into that hand until you start to trip yourself out and then start to move the hand and come to terms with the fact that you are a three-dimensional creature in a multi-dimensional universe, and you're here to experience that. You are not alive because you've been trained out of being alive. And so we need to become so much more sensual in the way that we speak to each other, in the way that we interact. And this food thing that we keep dealing with is the symptom of the failure of all of those other connections to one another, to ourselves, to the universe, to the microbiome, to this. And then ultimately, we find isolation to be that meta disease. And so we have to solve that meta disease. We have to reconnect. And this is such a journey. It just does not happen overnight, but it can have these paradigm shifting moments where you can never go back to where you were before. And then there's going to be another journey, and it'll be non-linear. You'll go up and down and up and down, but you'll never go back to where you were before because you broke that previous identity. I hope this last hour has done that with you. I hope there's something here that so rocked your idea of like what your food problem was that you're like, I can never go back to the belief that it's just me and my weak,
Right.
self-control that's doing this. It's got absolutely nothing to do with any concept of self-control. I haven't even gotten to that topic because it's irrelevant to the real problem at hand. And so you are a beautiful creature having a particle moment in a disconnected society that has the opportunity to reconnect. And you guys all showed up right now. And I think you guys are part of the revolution.